Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexis, and today we're gonna have a little cozy sit down January reading wrap up moment. Somehow we're already a month into 2024, which is absolutely surreal to me. It's been kind of a weird month of change where I went from living with my parents to moving back into my college apartment and then starting my last semester at college. It's just been kind of weird. But in the month of January, I ended up reading 9 books, which is like a lot for me. I usually do not read more than like maybe 5 a month. So I thought, we're gonna sit down and do my first monthly reading wrap up in like a hot minute. I used to like doing these videos, but I didn't feel like they did as well on my channel as maybe other videos. So if y'all like monthly reading wrap ups, can you let me know? I want to know if this is the type of thing that you want to see. With that being said, let's just get straight into the 9 books I read in January. So I started off the new year by reading Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. If your Instagram or booktok or anything like mine, these books were everywhere. Like literally, I could not scroll 2 photos without seeing these books. So I finally decided to read them and I loved them so much. I gave Divine Rivals 4 stars and I gave Ruthless Vows 5 stars. If you don't know what these books are about, they're about Roman and Iris. It's a workplace rivals to lover stories about 2 characters in a politically charged world where 2 gods are warring. The kind of whole motif of the story is that they write letters back and forth to each other, and it is super cute. It also kind of has the anonymous relationship trope since they don't actually know they're writing each other letters. If you're into fantasy or want to try to like fantasy, this is a good duology for you. It's not super high fantasy. It wasn't very complicated. The world building is really good, and I loved the characters. They are both just so strong in their romance together. If you've seen these books, and you've seen people hype them up, just know they're not lying. This is a duology worth your time. It is so good. I haven't read anything else by Rebecca Ross, but I definitely will be picking up more from her in the future after loving these 2 so much. On to our regularly scheduled romance for the rest of January, I have The Long Game by Elena Armas. If you know anything about me, you might know that I really did not like The Spanish Love Deception. In fact, my very first video from this channel was my least favorite books of, I think it was 2022? Yeah, my least favorite books of 2022 video, I just talk about how much I dislike that book. I ended up trying to give her other books a chance, and this month I did The Long Game. I did like this book, but it wasn't particularly memorable to me. I had a really fun time when I listened to this on audiobook. It is a really great story on audio that narrators do an amazing job, and it was really fun. But that is genuinely about all I remember about it, was that I thought it was really fun, and it hasn't really left a lasting impact. If you don't know what this one's about, it's that our main female character, I don't know what her name is, I'm not gonna lie, and she works for a soccer team company under her dad, but because something that she does, she attacks a mascot and it goes viral and everyone sees it, and her dad is like, get out of the company, we're gonna send you to this random town to manage this random team. And she's like, okay, bet. So she goes, and it turns out it's a team of little girls, and that their coach is an super famous soccer player named Cameron Caldoni. I remember his name, I don't remember hers. They mention his name so many times, he's the Cameron Caldoni. And then because of that, they have a Sunshine Grumpy Force Proximity little romance. It's really cute. I remember being fun, but there's very little about the book that stays in my head. I have not thought about this book once since I finished it. Next up, I finally picked up Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonin Young. Again, y'all were not joking about how good that book was. I gave it 5 stars, adored it to literally pieces. Out on a Limb about our main 2 characters, Bo and Win. The 2 of them have a little one-night stand on Halloween, and they end up with an accidental bun in the oven. And hear me out, if you are not into accidental pregnancy, it does not matter. I'm kidding. Okay, I do not like accidental pregnancy. I don't even like pregnancy in books. I just don't think in books that's something I want to read about. However, if that's the opinion that you share, don't worry about it. Read the book anyways. It is so good, you will forget it is accidental pregnancy. I guess you won't forget. How do I phrase this? If you're I don't want to read a book because accidental pregnancy, don't let that deter you from this amazing book. Back to the synopsis. She goes and tells Bo, hey, fun in the oven. And he's like, I'm going to be there. I'm going to step up and we're going to do this. Yeah, okay, let's go. They end up moving in together. They have the cutest, most wholesome, warm and fuzzy little romance with such good banter. And just, when I think about them, it just feels walking into a little cozy log cabin with candles burning and little blankets, and just so warm and tender and loving and amazing. The book is fantastic for representation for disabilities. He has a amputated leg and she has like a hand that did not fully develop. It's really interesting. They talk a lot about that, on top of the fact that the romance is being talked about and the pregnancy and mental health. It's just such a good book. Like, if you have been thinking about reading Out on a Limb, like, just do it. It's coming off of Kindle Unlimited soon because it's getting traditionally republished. You need to go read it. If you've Kindle Unlimited, go read it now. And if not, the new edition coming out from Berkeley is absolutely beautiful. So pre-order that. It comes out this upcoming summer. Or get yourself the indie original cover version. The answer is there's the 3 options I just gave you to read it. So choose one. Choose one of those 3 and go read it. The next book on this list is one that I just cannot believe I got to read early. Like, it feels like a dream or a practical joke that the stars have aligned that let me read this book early. That is Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is Emily Henry's upcoming novel. I think it comes out in April from Berkeley. And I just want to say thank you so much, Berkeley, for sending me an e-arc of this book because I adored it to bits and pieces. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I think this might even be my favorite book from Emily Henry ever. This book's synopsis is literally a funny story, hence why it's called Funny Story. There's this girl named Daphne, and Daphne is engaged to Peter. However, Peter ends up like cheating on her and leaving her for a woman named Petra, who had a fiance named Miles. And out of necessity, Daphne and Miles end up living together, both recently broken up with, forced proximity moment, and they're both getting over a major heartbreak together. So, you know, it's kind of a funny story. This book was so much fun. The whole story felt so atmospheric and realistic and whole, and I just loved Daphne and Miles' relationship. Like, the way that I could just feel like how they loved each other and looked at each other had me kicking my feet and screaming and giggling. It was so good. There were also so many issues that the characters talked about that I could just personally relate to, where I was like highlighting and like literally crying at the same time because I was just like, this is just me, and it was so emotional to me. Like, I cried more times than I can count reading this book. Not even talk about like all the cute little random pet names. There's like a gorgeous vineyard that comes up. It is such a good one. And I know I probably don't have to tell people like, go read Emily Henry because everyone loves Emily Henry, but I'm telling you right now, if you haven't read Emily Henry, this one, I think this is going to be my favorite Emily Henry, and I'm so excited for it to be out in the world. Then my next book is The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer. This is a hockey romance that just came out in December from an author I really like, and I did really enjoy it. I ended up giving it around 3 stars, I think. 3.5 or 3? I have a hard time deciding because it's very personal why I didn't like it more. So this book is a enemies to lovers fake dating story between Hazel and Rory, and I loved the first chunk of it. Like, I was having a really good time. We're reading along. The banter is bantering. The steam is being hinted towards, like, not the steam. The chemistry. The chemistry is being hinted towards. I was having a good time. Towards the end, I felt kind of bored. The book is really long, and there was also something that happens during the smut that gave me an ick. It's such a me thing, and I've never read about this stuff in a book before. And I would consider myself a fairly well-read romance reader, but I still haven't had this happen in a book before, and it happened several times in several different scenes, and it just gave me an ick, and then I wasn't really enjoying it, so I was like skimming past all the sex scenes because I didn't want to read them because they gave me that ick, which is part of why I gave it 3 or 3.5 stars rather than giving it a higher rating. I wanted to enjoy this one more. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't my favorite, and I do look forward to reading other books in this series by this author that are not this couple with the things that gave me a little you know? Sometimes you're just reading it's a little Then I have The Last Word by Katie Burchell. One of my goals for 2024 is to fix all the like NetGalley back titles I have, like read them all. I've been doing that by listening to them on audiobooks. This one and the next 2 are audiobooks of old NetGalley arcs that I've been meaning to read. This one was a DNF. Nope, not for me. The start seemed promising. It's an enemies to lovers story about 2 characters who used to work together as interns like 10 years ago and are now working together in the same office. I just couldn't get over how immature the main character was. It felt like no one else cared and no one else had a problem but her. She was super immature and I just wasn't engaged. I got about 40% in and I just realized I don't care. I just truly don't care. So I decided just to stop putting my energy into it. I decided to DNF this one. I'm sure there are readers out there who will like this book. I hope there are readers out there that will like this book, but it simply wasn't for me. Another NetGalley one that I was trying to catch up on was Stand Up Grimson by Jackie Liu. This is the companion novel to, I think it's Donut Fall in Love, which is another book that I read a while ago. This is the spin-off companion novel following that book character. The first one's her best friend, and it's like an enemies to lovers story between this girl who is... The more I'm talking about it, the more I realize I just don't really remember much about the book because it didn't feel super memorable. It's kind of combos that the guy is like a literal comedian and a jokester, and that she's like an ice queen and has a really hard time getting connected to people. It also talks a lot about bisexuality. It talks all about being bi while also being Asian, and then there's obviously a central romance. I like this one overall. It just didn't really stand out to me. I wanted to like it more than I did. It was just kind of like, eh. It was fun to listen to, but I finished it like a week ago and I just really haven't thought about it since. The very final book that I read in January was The Prince and the Apocalypse by Karen McDowell. Why did no one tell me to read this sooner? Why? Why did no one tell me to read that? This book was so good. I give it 5 stars and oh my goodness, it's criminally underrated. In this book, our main character is like in London on a little school trip and she's going around and she's doing her thing and she misses her flight home. However, she also meets a prince and she calls him up for a favor and she's like, hey, now that everyone has found out the world will be ending in 8 days, I want to get home to see my family. Can you help with that? And he's like, sure, I owe you a favor. So yeah, let's get you home to see your family. So it's like a forced proximity. They're traveling together to get her home to see her family, and the world is ending. Everything is ending in 8 days. And little teenagers that are like falling in love, like they're falling in love for the first time. And it was so cute and it was so sweet. The stakes felt like so real, and like I was really caring for the main characters. I was really rooting for them and I wanted them to go home and I wanted them to be well, and I just really enjoyed it. There's a sequel coming out later this year and I'm so excited because I kid you not, I finished this book and I emailed Wednesday Books, the publisher, immediately. I was like, girl, I love that book. Is there any chance I can get on the mailing list for the next one? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. You're joking. I'm so excited. I'm so excited because I love this book so much. I get 5 stars. I'm so excited to read the next one, and I'm so thankful to Wednesday Books for one, introducing me to this title, but also for being willing to give me the next one. I can't even tell you guys, like, this is such a dream for me. Like, the fact that I can read a book and be like, I can't wait for the sequel, and then I literally don't have to wait, is such like a privilege and an honor that I don't know how to verbalize sometimes. It just like hits me in the chest. Because I love doing this so much, and I'm just so thankful that I don't feel like words can explain how thankful I am for getting to read Funny Story earlier, for getting, like, do you know what I mean? Do you guys, are you guys understanding what I'm trying to say? I'm so thankful. I just love having my own little corner of the internet where I can tell you guys about the books I just read in January and talk to you about like these fun things, like upcoming arcs I might be getting, and it's just such a happy little thing for me. Like, this makes my day. I love doing this. In total, those are the 9 books that I read in the month of January. I'm pretty happy with 9. Don't expect that again. If I make another one of these, do not expect me to read 9 more books in February. That's not gonna happen. I just know it. I'm not built for this. Like, 9 books in a month is like the record, I think. Like, truly. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Feel free to comment down below if you've read any videos, you want to read them. DM me on Instagram if you want to. If you don't want to comment, here's my handle as per usual. I love talking, so like, I love talking to you guys. So don't be shy to reach out to me, like either down there or on Instagram. I will respond. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic week. I will see you next Monday. Bye!